Good morning, everyone. We got a heck of a show today because, ladies and gentlemen, so many things are going on right now that we've got to take control. All right. I actually feel like the last couple of months, things have been pretty chaotic and unexpected, and quite frankly, too samey around here. We've got a lot of discussions about what's going on with my channel and the future and stuff like that. And today, on the Level 1 podcast, I'm going to take the bull by the horns. What I mean by that is, the schedule is going to shake up. We're going to have major discussions about what I'm actually going to play and not going to play. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. Even the game that I was going to play today isn't looking too good. So we've got a lot to discuss. Plus, my wife and I have had some discussions and finally determined what we want to do next for co-op. So a lot of stuff coming out of today's show right after this. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the Level 1 podcast. It is Friday, the 15th of March, 2024. We got a lot to discuss. We really do. Namely, what is going to happen here in this week, in the next couple of weeks, what the next major game is that I'm playing. The reason that we have to have this discussion today is because I feel like our train has gone off the rails. I really do feel that way. I feel like, sadly, as a result of many of the games that originally I was interested in and plan on playing not being so good and me skipping them. And then me playing some of the games that I was interested in, but sadly, they're so lengthy, it's impossible to get through them in a reasonable amount of time. We've been stuck in this endless Groundhog Day feeling of every day. It's the same stuff. It's another long RPG. It's another limitless, endless, never progressing game. And because of that, I feel like the variety has kind of stagnated here on the channel, this channel has stagnated. Views are down, engagement is down, contributions are down, everything is down. Okay? And I can't just have that continue. The thing is, it's not like this is going to last forever, because we're in a situation where there are some exciting, interesting games coming out, not only in the next few weeks, but in the next few months. You know, looking long-term at stuff, you know, the Elden Ring DLC, you know, is going to get people excited to see me play that, among many other things coming out by the summer. But we're in March, okay? And the situation that I find myself in, and all of us find ourselves in on this channel every day, is, okay, it's time for stream number 37 of the same game that I've been playing for 7 months. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but, you know, it's going to be samey, same kind of stuff again. Same crowd will be here, which is fine. But at one point, will there be new exciting stuff going on? Oh, there's a new game coming out. Oh, guess what? Reports say it's terrible. Well, I'm not going to play it then. And then we wait. And I continue on with endless long games. And then the next game that comes out is another endless long RPG, right? And then I skip RPGs because I'm playing too many RPGs, and people complain that I skipped the RPGs, even though the RPGs that I'm playing, people are saying are too long and boring. So it's kind of like this endless cycle at this point. All right. Now, today was supposed to be a big opportunity for variety here on DSPGaming. Why? Because yesterday the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection released. And this is a collection of 2 games from the 2000s that are well-regarded, well-respected, games that everyone absolutely loves. And EA tried to recreate this lightning in a bottle back in the 2010s and failed miserably. The 2 Battlefront games that they made in the 2010s don't hold a candle to the originals. They've lost that fun spirit of what they're supposed to be in exchange for, like, experience and leveling systems and randomized pulls and drops, and it's just really, really weird what they went there, because I think they wanted to make these microtransaction games as a service games, and it didn't work. Okay? So, with this collection coming out and everyone excited, wow, the originals are coming back, people got pumped, And now it came out, and apparently it's a huge flop because it's just a broken mess. You know, I guess on PC it came out Wednesday night, and no one could play. People turned on their PCs, opened Steam, booted the game, and it said there were no servers. Like, how are there no servers for an online game? Apparently, their entire infrastructure crashed when they hit the switch to turn it on. So you had like 10,000 people trying to play on 3 working servers that each house 64 players. Do you know what happens when you have 10,000 people trying to join about 180 slots? It's not a good situation. Let's put it that way. Okay. Now, from what I'm to understand, it's been getting better over the course of the last 48 hours or so. It is improving. And the console experience apparently hasn't been as bad as the PC experience. But the problem is, first impressions are everything. And if your first impression on the internet of this game is, wow, it's a broken mess, nothing works, it's buggy, it crashes, you have to wait to get into servers endlessly, you drop from servers, it's, lag. If that's what everyone heard, that's all anyone's going to think about the game or care. So I hate to say it, this game is kind of dead because it got destroyed within the first 12 hours of being on Steam, and now everyone just has turned it into the laughing, running meme and joke of the internet the last couple of days. Of course, I bought it early. I bought it ahead of time and preloaded it. So I'm stuck with it. I bought it, and luckily for me, I did buy it on PlayStation. So hopefully I'm going to have at least a decent player base to play it with. But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. I've even heard they basically didn't even bother adding in a modernized system to jump into multiplayer, that it's literally the same system that you used to have on PC like 20 plus years ago, where you boot up the game and it gives you a server listing and you have to manually select and try to join servers to play. And that in itself could be very hit or miss. It might not work, or it could, get errors and crashing. So just to get into a game could be a nightmare. I've also heard that Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 are completely separated, instead of being in one system where you just select like, oh, what's the server with the spots or whatever. No, it basically separated the experiences completely. So now you got everyone's jumping in Battlefront 2, but no one's playing Battlefront 1 because obviously you want to play the more modernized game. But now because of that, everyone's got a Battlefront 1 with no one playing it. So you can't play it online because there's not enough people. So what the fuck? You bought 2 games in a collection, and one of them essentially is unplayable. Gee, that was smart, wasn't it? Again, this is the equivalent of when I bought the Capcom collection last year, and there were 4 versions of Darkstalkers in it, and they were all separate. Well, no one's going to know what version to boot, so every time you go to play online, you got 2 people playing, and you can't even find them in the matches. Why did they do that for? So anyway, I really don't know what to do. I've bought this already. I have it loaded. I just downloaded a 17 gig update patch for it because that's the day 1 patch because the game's so fucked up. It's essentially half the size of the game re-downloaded and trying to fix it. We're playing it today. I mean, you guys were so hyped for it. You convinced me to play it all day today. This was my whole day. And now we don't even know if it's going to work when I boot it up. So we're going to try. I'm not going to say, oh, well, let's just throw it away and not play it. We're going to try. But if it doesn't work, I don't even know what we got. We're going to call an audible, right? We have to do something else. And I don't like doing that because calling an audible means that half the people who would have been there for whatever I'm doing in place of what originally we were going to do, they're not there. For example, let's say we boot this up and within an hour I give up. I can't play it. It's unplayable. All right, fuck it. Let's just go play Baldur's Gate, right? Well, guess what? Most of the people who were here for Baldur's Gate are not going to be here today because they didn't know that I was playing Baldur's Gate. So now you got a different crowd, a crowd that wasn't ready for Baldur's Gate, probably not the same engaging, supportive crowd as usual, and people are upset because now, oh, I missed on Baldur's Gate. I didn't know you were playing it today. Yeah, well, I didn't either, right? And so that's a problem. So I guess we have to see what happens, okay? I hope it works. I want to play this game. That was the whole point, is that I wanted to play something different, to bring something completely so different from everything else we're doing with these RPGs. So we have variety. So it's fun. And I think this would be a fun thing to play and to watch. It's an exciting game. It really is. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What can I do? Right? I guess we'll find out. So So anyway, see what I mean? Like, I have all these plans. I'm like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this for variety. We're going to do this. It always kind of bites me in the ass, it seems. I can't seem to get out of this rut of everything's an RPG, everything's lengthy. So here's the deal. Yesterday was my day off, all right? And I had a day to kind of sit back. I had some errands to run. My wife and I did a bunch of stuff around the house. But for the most part, I had time to sit back and just think about everything going on right now. And I'm looking at the channel, and here's the truth. The throwback channel is doing good. It's got more views, more engagement. It's starting to garner some support. The throwback channel is getting healthier and better. I'm like, wow, this is excellent. The React channel is doing all right. It's about where it's always been. So no complaints there. But the DSPGaming channel is way down. No exaggeration. I'm down hundreds of thousands of views. I'm down engagement. I'm down a ton of support this month. And I'm like, I know why. Right? Because we're playing the same goddamn games and they're never ending. And this is driving me nuts. And I'm thinking about everything I'm doing right now. I'm like, I'm in the home stretch of Baldur's Gate 3. But people are saying, oh, you still have to do this mission for this character, 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 this mission for this character. Then you got to get into the end game where you have to do this, 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 and this. But if you do this, then you can skip this. But then you maybe do this, and then don't forget this if you want to see the full story of this. And then this, 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 this. Then you make your big choice. Then it's the end. So then there's this, 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 and this. And then the game ends. What the fuck? So when does it end? Does it ever end? Huh? Then I'm playing Like a Dragon. And the good news is we've had major, major progress in Like a Dragon the last couple of streams. We got out of the rut of being stuck in certain chapters. And the story is turboing, barreling forward. All right? And that's good. I've actually been told that if I just focus on story progress in Like a Dragon Infinite Well, I'll probably beat it in like a week. Like seriously, if I played it like 5 streams, I could beat it if I just do story. And I'm debating doing that. Because at this point, even though I love Like a Dragon, even though this is the swan song for the Kazuma Kiryu character, I can't have the same games going on forever. We're almost 50 hours into that playthrough. By now, you should be finishing the game, right? It's like, what is going on right now with all this shit? And by the way, to everyone contributing, thank you. You know I shout out contributions at the end of the podcast, and I will do that today. I got to get out of this. I got to talk about my subject matter first, and then we'll get to all that. All right? Thank you so much, because people are being very supportive right now in the chat. Thank you so much. Okay. So all that's going on. Oh, by the way, did you remember I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Does anyone even remember that? It came out 2 weeks ago, and I was very hyped for it at launch, and within one stream, no one cared. Seriously, I played the one stream, and then everyone was like, meh, it's another RPG. And I'm like, seriously? Like, people were so hyped and asking me to play this for so long. And now, because of the climate of the games, I fully believe it's not the game. Because the game is good. I feel it's because there's just too many other fucking RPGs. And it killed the hype for the game. What can you explain otherwise why sales for the game are lower than Final Fantasy 16's? But people loved Remake, but everyone was hyped and anticipated for this game, right? I mean, everywhere, games media, the freaking social media, everyone. So why are the sales down? Because it's called being tired. It's called stagnation. It's called oversaturating the market. It's too much of the same in a short period of time. Even people who love these games are like, it's too much. It's too much RPGs, okay? So, what are we going to do? I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, all right? I've had enough. I've reached my limit. Really, I have. At this point, it's like a question of, are these games playing me, or am I playing the games? And I've really, really reached my wit's end, all right? Starting today, I'm grabbing the bull by the horns. I'm grabbing the ogre by his giant swollen ball sack, and I'm going to speed bag it like Rocky, all right? This is it. Now, it's serious fucking business. Because I'm not playing these same fucking games another 2 months. I'm not going to be caught up in endless fucking playthroughs. I want to play a variety of games. I want to play what I want to play. Really, the straw that broke the camel's back for me, excuse me. Yesterday, I'm off from work, and I'm reading all of the comments on my videos, all right, and I'm approving them, and I see a pattern. There's a few people who are now leaving comments that are like, you've made a horrible decision, because next week, my choice, remember, there's 2 games coming out next week, Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2, correct? Now, I outright told you guys, I was not going to play Dragon's Dogma 2 because I cannot play another lengthy RPG when I'm playing too many other lengthy RPGs. I just can't do it. How would I do it, right? Instead, I was going to play Rise of the Ronin. And, the early previews that come out for Rise of the Ronin, in general, most people are favorably looking at it, saying it's a hybrid of Assassin's Creed, Sekiro, and Dark Souls. It's a unique open world that's kind of fun. It is kind of Team Ninja-esque, because a lot of Team Ninja tropes and things in it, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty good game, right? So, I settled that's what I want to play. In fact, in truth, this is the absolute truth. If I had my absolute choice of games to play, I would be playing Dragon's Dogma 2 this coming week. I'm serious. I loved Dragon's Dogma 1 over a decade ago. I thought it was a unique game from Capcom, who I didn't know back then for making RPGs. Little did I know Monster Hunter, right, which is so popular. But back then, I didn't even know about that franchise. So when Dragon's Dogma came out, it pleasantly surprised me. And I really was hyped for Dragon's Dogma 2. I wanted to play it. I was stoked to play it. And then what happened is I got caught up in all of this insane amount of RPGs. And it's like, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, it refuses to end. I'm playing Like a Dragon, it refuses to make progress. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and no one gives a shit. Really. Rebirth, no one's showing up to the streams. It's very low attendance, very low engagement, and very low support, right? At least in the case of Baldur's Gate 3, you can argue the interest in the playthrough has waned over time, but man, people support that game. They like it so much, and they want to see me play it to completion that they're supporting every single stream. Final Fantasy VII, it's like it jumped off a cliff into the water, onto the narrow shoal rocks down there, and the body is all jarred and ripped apart. I don't know what happened. This is a game that everyone was pumped for, and now it's like no one gives two shits about it at all, right? I'm bizarrely shocked, because I thought people were going to like it, really. So, we have two major things to change and or figure out, okay? The first is as follows, and this is absolutely 100% official because I've had enough. As of now, after today, because today we're already committed to trying to play Battlefront Collection, I am 100% committing to beating these goddamn RPGs as soon as fucking possible. I am not going to have Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon endlessly going on these channels. We are playing the fuck out of them until they're done, okay? And even if that means we have to cut some corners and we have to skip some missions and not do side content, then so fucking be it. We're finishing these games as soon as humanly possible. I'm not going to be balancing 17, 18 games anymore. We are finishing this shit right now. You get it? So, that means tomorrow, Saturday, we're doing Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. Now, Sunday is React Day. So, Sunday, we're still doing the React streams. That's not going to change. But then on Monday, it's Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I can't do a late stream on Monday because I have to do private Patreon videos and finish up my personal business stuff from behind the scenes that I have to do every year this time of year. But then on Tuesday, it is Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. And then on Wednesday, it is Baldur's fucking Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. And we are going to get as far into these as possible this week. All right? We are going turbo fucking mode. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to boot the game up in Baldur's Gate. I'm going to pull out my staff, and I'm just going to bop everyone on the head in a row. Bonk, bonk the fuck out of my way, because I'm beating these goddamn quests right now. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And we're turboing through this shit. Okay? I really had enough. We have to finish these games. Can you imagine if I was playing these games till like mid-April? I might as well just fucking pack it up and close down the channel. I might as well. Just say, fuck it. Why even bother? No one's going to come by anymore. Right? So that is that. That's this week. Now, here's the important thing, okay? We have to determine what's the new game that I'm playing next week. It's either going to be Rise of the Ronin or Dragon's Dogma 2. I can only play one new game, and no matter what it is, the game is going to be played on release day. And then we're going to change it up and go back to Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon until they are completed. and then we will go back to it. So we will have 1 day of launch day hype, all right, for whatever the game is that I choose to play next Friday, because it is next Friday that they both come out, correct? So then 1 day of that, and then we go back to the other ones, and we play them till they're fucking done. Okay? That is what I want to do. Because then, at the very fucking least, we will have closure to some of these ongoing playthroughs. The 120-hour game will probably end around hour 135, right? The 50-hour game will probably end around hour 55. We'll have the end. We'll say, okay, they're done. Now we can fully focus on new stuff, right? Because here's the thing. There's absolutely no way I can play any game right now and focus on it when I've got these lingering RPGs. They must be completed, all right? So that's the thing. We have to figure out what's the game that I should play next Friday. Now, again, if I had my choice, if I ultimately could just play whatever I wanted, I would play Dragon's Dogma 2. But I'm concerned because I'm getting feedback that I should play Dragon's Dogma 2. But I'm very concerned. We're getting out of RPGs. We're finishing 2. And now we're going to jump right into another one. Now, it is a very different style of RPG. This is an action-based RPG with different gameplay elements, right? But I am nervous it's not going to work. That it's going to be just like everything else. I buy the game, we play it 2 streams, and after 2 streams, people are tired of it. And they say, well, oh well. And they stop showing up, they stop engaging, they stop supporting, and I might as well never play the game. All right, I'm going to be honest with everyone. You guys have sadly been desensitized to streaming. You now think that every streamer should just play a hot new game for 2 streams and move on. And the reason that you believe that is because that's what the top streamers do, because they're all fickle. Because the reason that they're sitting here in front of you isn't to put out an entertaining broadcast, it's to print money. And because of that formula, everyone just believes that's the status quo. Okay? It's not. It's not how it's supposed to be. All right? People who actually care about games will fucking play them till completion. They don't just play a game when it's hot for 2 fucking streams and then drop it on its fucking head. But it seems like that's what's going on with tons of these people these days. They get a game because it's free. The publisher gives it to them for free so they can play it and not have to worry about money investment, right? They only play it for 2-3 streams while it's popular. And, oh, fuck that. I'm not playing it any further. They never see the end of a game. That's not who I am. That's never who I've been. I don't follow those trends. I don't do what it takes to become popular. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's not me. And it's never going to be me. I'm not going to change who I am to follow the trends of what the top streamers do just because they can get away with it because they're so popular. And it's sad because I think that the gaming industry is really, really faltering because of this. You can't retain interest in a game for more than a few days because every fucking person is on to the next game. If the game industry knew what was good for it, here's what it would do. Stop giving out copies to every top streamer and find 5 people who are going to stick with their game throughout the entirety of the game and actually showcase the full game and how good it is and give them the copies and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Because then what will happen is people will stop with this bullshit of only hyping a game for 2 days and then dropping it. If you're putting on an 80-hour RPG, you don't want people only knowing about the first 4 hours. And that's what's happening right now, you know? Hold on one second. So yeah, you know, I'm genuinely upset because we're in a rut now, and I don't like being in a rut. I don't like being in a fucking rut, in a situation where we have all these games going, but no one's happy. You know what I mean? It's like they say you can't please all the people all the time. Well, right now, the only people who are kind of happy right now are the Baldur's Gators, the Baldarians, right? Because I'm playing a lot of that game still, right? So, by the way, I'm just enough of these idiots. Goodbye. Every idiot who just wants to be contradictory in the chat, just say goodbye. Okay? Fucking idiot. Everyone has to just contradict everything I say, of course. So, that's the deal, is I need to put my foot down, and we have to make a big change here in order to get stuff going. Okay? Okay? I hope this is okay with you. Because I know some people are going to be upset. They're going to be like, well, what happened to Final Fantasy VII? Well, what happened is people stopped watching it. That's what happened. People have completely stopped. When I play the game, it's like it's dead in here. People are falling asleep. Very few people are engaging. The support as well. Like last time I played Final Fantasy VII, all the support came in during the podcast. As soon as I booted the game, nothing. That's it. It was dead. I might as well have been sitting here just staring at a camera like this for 3 hours. In fact, if I actually did that, I think it would have been more exciting to some people because people just don't care about the game, you know? And that's sad because I think it's a fine game. But why am I going to continue on with a game that there is literally no interest in? And that's what I'm getting out of my audience is I'm getting no interest in that game at all right now. Which is sad. I think they did a good job with it. I do agree that some of the side content in the open world is very repetitive, and I'm wondering, because we're only in the second side area. So if we get to the further side areas of the game, and basically it's all the same shit again, like the same exact, game loop again. The same enemying fights, one mini-boss, you go to those energy pools, solve the summon touch pattern puzzle, which isn't even really a puzzle, it's just a time button push, like you're playing a Bomani game or whatever. If it's all the same over and over and over, I don't even see the point of continuing, right? I feel like that's a game that maybe you just turbo through the story and fuck everything else, because what's the point? But I don't even know if you can do that, because I don't know if the game scales to your level or what, right? I don't know. But yeah, that just feels like that's the situation we're in right now. Is that no one cares about Final Fantasy. We're endlessly stuck in these other playthroughs. And, we need to make a change. So, what I need, FYI, is feedback of what we're playing on Friday of next week. And no matter what it is, we're going to do a premiere day of it. And then after that, it's going on hiatus until we finish these games. We must finish Baldur's Gate 3. And we absolutely must finish Like a Dragon. And we're going to work on it hardcore for the next 1 to 2 weeks until the games are done. And then we're going to come back and focus more on whatever other game we chose to play. Okay? Now, the thing is, this Battlefront collection is also a big question mark because it was going to be a part of the rotation. But sadly, I don't even know if it works, right? So if it doesn't work, then obviously it's not even a concern. But I guess we have to see what happens today. And if it works, and if it's a joke and it's broken and it doesn't work, then I guess we're not playing this anymore either. And I just fucking bought it, right? So obviously, this is not the ideal. This is the necessary evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is. Like, I have to do it this way. I don't like doing it this way. I would much rather be more paced, be more metered, play everything, balance everything. But sadly, it's not working. There's too many lengthy games. I don't think ever in my entire history of me being a YouTuber, and that's almost 16 years at this point, I don't think I've ever played this many ultra lengthy games at one time before. Ever. Never. Over 100 hours Baldur's Gate, roughly 60 to 80 hours Like a Dragon, and like 80 plus hours Final Fantasy VII. I've never played 3 games like that at one time before. They've never even come out at the same time before. And now we're faced with endless amounts of these games. And again, yes, some of the responsibility here has to be put onto these game developers and game publishers for all releasing their insanely lengthy RPGs within a 3-month period of time. That is suicide. And they've all done it. There is a distinct reason why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sales numbers are much lower than what the company was expecting. They were expecting it to be a blockbuster blowout, their highest selling game of all time, and the game hasn't even sold as well as Final Fantasy 16, which by argument, a lot of people criticized, said it wasn't that good. Why? Because there's too many fucking RPGs. You're not going to continuously have hits if they're all the same genre of game. It just can't happen. You can't release 20 summer blockbuster action movies back to back. You can't release 7 fighting games back to back, and you can't release 10 RPGs back to back. It doesn't work. But for some reason, they idiotically didn't look at the climate and anything around them. Instead, they just focused on making their games and just pumping them all out at the same time. It makes no sense. So now they're all cannibalizing each other, and we're seeing this in the industries. You see people talk about an RPG for 3 days, and then it's like the game doesn't exist. What happened, right? Like, no exaggeration, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, no one's talking about it anymore. And it just came out 2 weeks ago. You would have thought this would have been the game that it has legs that everyone's talking about nonstop. No, it's done. It's as if the game never came out. It was hyped for a few days. And then everyone just ran to the next thing that pumped out. Now everyone's talking about their hype for Dragon's Dogma 2 because the character creator came out for that, right? And now the controversy is about it. This is what I mean. Like, there's no more focus on one game anymore. It's all for one day we talk about it and then we move on. You want to know why? I'm telling you right now, the fucking streamers. Because this is how they've become. They've become, talk about a game for one day just to get a boost in views and then move on to the next and then move on to the next. It's like, dude, that is so harmful to the industry. It really is. And I don't understand why no one gets this. That having this fucking ADD bouncing all over the place. Oh, this today, this today, this today, this today, this today. Nothing ever fucking gets done. Right? I don't know. Here's the thing. I feel like back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like 10, 15 years ago, of course. The game industry was so different because when a big game came out, that became everyone's focus for a couple of months. And everyone was talking about it. Everyone was excited for it. Everyone cared about it. And now it's like everyone just lives in their little bubbles. You know what it might be? It might be the dawn of the on-demand era as well. So for example, right now, let's say you want to watch a movie. Okay, it used to be back in the day, well, you go rent it. You go rent it from the video store or you buy the DVD. Today, it's like, well, what streaming service is it on? Is it on Hulu? Is it on Netflix? Is it on Paramount Plus? Is it on, what's the other one? The other one that starts with a P. Peacock, right? Is it on Max? Is it on Amazon Video? Is it on Apple fucking, video? What's it on, right? You don't even know. And you need to have 17 services in order to get any kind of entertainment now. And now the thing is, it used to be when a new show came out on TV, what would happen? That TV show would be broadcast nationally on prime time, 8 p.m. this Thursday, the hot new show. So everyone would watch it all simultaneously. And then there'd be talk about that show all over the world because it just aired and it was a hot new property, right? Today, because everything is on demand, instant gratification, but because it's all in its own channel, you don't get that feeling of, wow, it's a big worldwide event that everyone cares about anymore. And I think that's what's happening right now with video games, right? Everyone's kind of in their own lane. So the fighting game people are here, the RPG people are here, but then there's even subgenres of RPGs. There's the shooter people here, and they all just do their own thing, and there's no crossover. Instead, everyone's just in their own lane. So it used to be, you could be like a jack of all trades. You cover variety. You're interested in all these different genres. But now it's like, if you're not hyper-focused on the one genre, right? Then you just don't care about anything else, right? Like the fighting game community cares about Street Fighter 6 and its DLCs and Tekken, and that's it. The RPG community right now is kind of in shambles because there's so many different RPGs. So now they're even like siphoning out into different channels of what RPG styles you like, and then you follow that, right? Shooters are kind of all over the place right now because Call of Duty's in shambles. No one really even talks about it anymore. It's more about what's the new hype shooter that everyone's playing for like the next few weeks or whatever. And there's all these different ones from different studios and things, and they're all competing. There's the Finals just had its fucking season 2, and I guess there was that game, or was it like Ready to Go or something like that? It has something to do with police or something. Who knows? People played it for 3 days and then they dropped it like it never existed, right? But this is how it is now. Like everyone is all over the place now. And there's no like, this is what's popular, let's talk about it. Instead, it's like we're all off in our own little corners of the room in these little cliques. And we're kind of like, oh, this is happening, this is good, this is good, this is good. But there's no crossover. There's no feeling of like, as gamers, this is what's good and let's enjoy it together. I don't think that's a good thing at all. I feel like we've lost that feeling of greater gaming, of big momentous releases, of big hype things. They don't exist anymore because all people care about is the day it comes out, you talk about it, and then you're on to the next day. And again, I do believe that's heavily influenced by the on-world streamer culture. I totally remember that shit. I believe that shit because everyone's now got this ADD feeling. We're wired to think games are important for 2 days, and then you're out. What's the next one? And that's a horrible fucking thing to feel, right? I don't think anything should be like that at all. Okay. So anyway, that's why I got to put my foot down here. Now, some people are going to be upset and they're going to be like, so wait, there's no Final Fantasy VII anytime soon? No, there's not. I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again for a while. I'm not. I refuse to play it. No one's tuning into the streams as it is. So there's no point in continuing with that playthrough. until I get to a time when maybe we can bring it back and it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to keep it dragging along while I have these other unfinished games, okay? So for this next week, the absolute focus is Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. Let's finish them. We probably can't finish either in the next week, but if we just play those games nonstop, we'll make big progress, okay? And then this Friday, we have to figure out what we're doing. Is it going to be Rise of the Ronin or Dragon's Dogma 2? I'm okay with either. I really am. But we have to make a definitive decision, all right, on what it's going to be next. And then I'm going to play it on launch day, and then it's going to sit there and wait until we finish Baldur's Gate 3 and Dragon's Dogma, or Like a Dragon. We have to finish those two. When those are done, then we can go back and we can heavily focus on the new game, okay? And that's what I want to do. Whatever the new game is that I start playing on Friday, I want to heavily focus on it. Now, if this game works, Battlefront, which we're playing today, I would like to keep this in a rotation as an occasional multiplayer game. And you guys already asked me, am I playing the single player? And it's like, single player? I don't know where you think we're going to have time to do another single player campaign for anything at all. I just don't get that. That request is like, baffles me. People almost never demand single player of a shooter. And you're actually asking me if I'm going to do the single player of this one. It's like, listen, I'm not against doing that at all. I just don't see how I'm going to do it right now, but I'd like to maybe eventually do it. So if the game works and you guys like it, I would absolutely love to play more of this after we beat RPG Mania. Okay? So let's see how that goes. Okay? Now, I have another announcement. My wife and I talked about co-op. We've been talking about it for weeks because we want to do stuff on stream together. And I told you, if we couldn't figure anything out to play, she was probably going to come on stream and do a Q&A session with you guys because it's been a while now. You know, it's been a month, if you didn't know, since we did the Dunko Island co-op, and it didn't go anywhere. We stopped doing it, and since then we didn't really think of anything else, right? So we were talking about the various different things that we could do and the ideas that we had, and, you know, we looked up a bunch of games, a ton of games, to try to look. And we're like, what are we going to do, right? So finally we came to a conclusion. Some of you are going to like it. Others of you are going to hate it. But I think for those of you who are into seeing us hang out and interact like a couple, right? And to enjoy a game together, which is what it's about, I think you're going to like what we came up with. If you're someone who's very demanding and has all this fucking laundry checklist of shit, things that you absolutely must require of any stream where two people are doing something together in a game, then you're going to be very upset. All right, I'll tell you right now, if you're one of the laundry list checklist people, just leave. You're not going to like these streams. Don't even bother attending them. All right, because that's not our intention. We're not doing this to be professional grade streamers where Cat is some kind of a veteran at this and everything's perfected. No, instead, it's two of us that want to do stuff together and just have fun. We want to have that social interaction like we have off camera, on camera. In fact, to give you some perspective here, someone left some comments on videos recently. And they said, you know, all the things that you've been describing that you do together on your day off would be great for content. For example, imagine if the first time Kat played Tekken and you were teaching her basics and we got to see her play the arcade mode that you described. That would have been awesome. Imagine her trying this power washing simulator and going through it and having, you know, doing the story of it. That would have been awesome. And this is that. And I'm thinking to myself, does this person not understand that, like, it's okay to have a life outside of a stream? Like, I don't have to have my stream on every moment that I'm out of this room and we're having interaction. Like, when I take a shit, I don't need to have the stream on as the turds hit the water. And as we're cooking, we don't have to see as we're frying and sauteing in the pan. You don't need to see it singe and sear. You don't need to see the smoke coming out of the food that I'm going to eat. I can just tell you that we made it and ate it. You know, not everything has to be broadcast live to an audience. There has to be like a separation of personal and public. And that's a great thing when you have that. Okay? I don't want to 100% have our private lives be broadcast to the world. Some people don't understand it. Like, well, I don't understand, but that's monetizable and people want to see it. So you should just do it. No. No. We shouldn't. We should have our own lives. That's the idea. Is that I'm much happier now. I used to do that. I used to film and vlog everything in my home, and every trip that I went on and everything that I did was broadcast live to the internet, and a lot of people liked it. And it basically destroyed my life. It made it so that people became internet stalkers, that people became obsessed with me and my private life, and how fucked up it was that they're all over every little piece of my house. It's obsessive. It's fucking disturbing. If you guys heard the stories of shit that's happened to me and my family over the years, you would be shocked and shit your pants. But I don't tell those stories because you don't give attention to that kind of fucked up stuff. You understand? No, I don't need to fucking show you every aspect of my life, okay? But in line with what people are saying like that, you know, thinking about what would have been a game that my wife would have played and I would have liked to be there either to participate in myself or to just sit there and do, like, you know, commentate on it. And what would have been something that we would have really liked to enjoy to do together that maybe we could just do on stream instead. And there's actually a game that we were talking about watching someone play or having her play, but we haven't found a means to have her play it because of our whole gaming situation, okay? All right, so that being said, here we go, because some people are going to like this and some people are going to hate this. All right, so here we go. The game that we have decided on. People are just saying the most random shit in chat. It's hilarious. The game that we've decided on is a game that Kat has wanted to, again, play or watch for a while, and we didn't have the means, but then we were like, Eureka, why not? And I will give this, if you can believe it, I give credit to Slayer, who is not here today. I wish he was here, but he's never here during the day streams. Slayer left a comment on one of my videos yesterday. He's like, you know, this might work. And I talked with Kat about it, and we were like, actually, yeah, this would work 1,000,000%. I think this is an excellent idea. It's a game that's not very long. It's a game with a very interesting story. It's a game where we could even maybe do some co-op, but I'll explain in a moment because the game truly is co-op, but isn't. It's hard to explain. The game that I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, no, it's not Singapore Simulator. Stop that right now. It's a game called Beyond Two Souls. It is one of the older Quantic Dream games. It's actually the major one that came out before Detroit Become Human. And if you can believe it, it is co-op, but not really. Allow me to explain what I mean by that, okay? It is co-op, but people were actually disappointed at the time because they thought it was fully co-op, and it's not, okay? So how it works is you're the main character, and that person, whoever player one is, plays as the main character with their control pad. But then there's another character that's a supernatural entity in the game. And if there's a second player, they can control the supernatural entity at certain points in the game. But there's never a point where you control them both at the same time. It kind of just swaps between the two. So you're basically just kind of a helper or an assist to the main character. All right. But here's the deal. Number one, it's a great plot. It's a very interesting game. If you've never seen the game before and you don't know the story, it's very interesting. Like, it hooked me when I was playing it. This game came out in 2013, by the way. So it's been a long time since it's been out. And if you haven't followed it or played it yourself, it's a very interesting story. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Kat's never played it. She knows nothing. She's heard about it. She likes the Quantic Dream games. You know, recently, we actually watched someone play Detroit Become Human. And then I'm watching myself play Heavy Rain every Sunday night on the DSP Throwback channel for the Retro React series. So we've been interested in this game for a while, and she's wanted to play it, and she can't play it because she doesn't have a PS5, and it's not on Xbox. Right now, currently, the only console we have in the living room where she plays games is the Xbox. And so it's not on there. So she just hasn't had access to it. So we stayed away. Originally, we were going to maybe watch someone else play it, but we kind of held off from it. And now we're actually happy that we did because here's the thing. The game's only around 8 to 10 hours long. So it would take only like 4 or 5 streams to beat it, which is good. It's a digestible game. It's episodic, right? It's not a game that has insane amounts of gameplay investment where we're going to be stressed or bored. Instead, it's an ongoing narrative. The narrative will get you excited to keep going. It gets you hooked and interested in the game as opposed to, oh, it's just gameplay, right? That was the problem with Dondoko. It's literally just grinding gameplay to get a reward. There's nothing to it. There's no story. There's nothing. With this, it's a narrative. It's interesting. And again, if you've never played it and you don't know the story, it's very exciting. Now, the other thing is, I did play it in 2013 when it was new, but I've never played or watched it since. So because of that, it's been 11 years. I honestly don't remember much of it. I'll probably remember certain scenes, but I don't remember that much. So for me, it's going to be cool to re-experience this game again because it's the first time in 11 years and it'll be kind of refreshing and interesting. So the Friendly Gremlin says, are you going to call her Elliot Page or Ellen Page? You're not going to call her anything because it's a character in the game. It's not the actress or actor. It's a person in a game. You don't have to call them by their real name. It's not a concern. Really, if we're saying we're going to play Beyond Two Souls of co-op and your major concern is, are you going to call the actor Elliot or Ellen? You don't have to be at the stream. You cannot attend. It's fine. If that's really what's going to be on your mind the whole time, that's all you can think about, I think you need to take a step back from reality. It's a little fucking stupid thing to say. Honestly. Okay? Anyway. So anyway, all that being said, let's now start talking about this. But here's the thing. Okay? I can't do it this week. There's no way. We are making a push to finish Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. So once those games are done, all right, then we're going to bring this co-op into the fray. All right, we are. Now, will we actually play it co-op? That's a good question, because it's actually funny. I read a few online reviews about how the co-op works in this game, and they're like, literally, you don't have to play it co-op. What you can do is just have the one controller, and so the one person plays the main character, and when it's time for the other character, you can just hand the controller over. And then that person just makes all the decisions for the other character. You don't need two controllers. Like, it's literally exactly the same. There's no difference. So maybe we'll just use one controller instead of having to have two and have me just sit around not playing 90% of the time. Just pass the controller back and forth or whatever, right? I don't know. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I want to do it, and I'd love to do it as soon as possible. I would love to do it tomorrow, but we can't. I gotta now finish these games I'm playing. All right, so here's the deal. This week's schedule, here it comes. Today, we're trying Battlefront all day long. I hope it works. I want to play these games online. I want variety. I want to have fun. But it sounds like this collection is a huge bust and doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, there's not much I can do about it. All right? If it doesn't work and we have to make on-the-fly decisions to change the schedule around, I guess we will. All right? But let's see what happens. I really hope that it does work because I want to enjoy the game today. Okay? And this is supposed to be both streams, so I'm going to do my best to have this be both streams. I hope you'll stick around. For everyone who's been screaming for variety, stop playing RPGs, do variety. Today's your day. So stick around. Engage. Please support the streams because I need it now because everything's stagnated for 2 months as I played the same RPGs. All right? Now, excuse me. Tomorrow, it is Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. On Sunday, it is React Day. DSP versus the Internet on DSP React. And then Retro React Heavy Rain on DSP Throwback. We're almost done with the Heavy Rain. 2 more streams and we finish the game. So that's already in its finale stages. Okay? Monday, Baldur's Gate 3. And then I cannot do a stream Monday night. And I know that sucks, especially now with everything going on. But I have to, number 1, do private patron videos. And number 2, finish up with my behind-the-scenes business stuff. So I will. And then after that, I will be here for double streams every day afterward. That's the last day I have to take a night off this month. Okay? Then on Tuesday, Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. And on Wednesday, Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. And by the end of this week, we can now reassess where we are in each game and see how much longer do we have until the finale. Okay? Now, next week, on Friday, we got 2 games coming out. Dragon's Dogma 2 and Rise of the Ronin. We must determine between the two which one I will be playing. And it can only be one, okay? Excuse me. Okay, so please, I need feedback. Which do you want? I'm down for either. I would play either game. But here's the deal. No matter which game I play, please only give me your opinion if you're going to be here and commit to watching the playthrough. Now, I just want to see the first early stages of it for 4 hours and I'm never coming back. Because if I buy a lengthy RPG and I play it for 4 hours and the interest drops off, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to stop playing RPGs. I'm going to repeat that for all of you. If I buy an RPG because you guys say you want it, and I play the first 4 hours of it and it does okay, and then after that no one comes back, engages, or supports those playthroughs, I'm going to stop playing RPGs entirely. I will just drop them because I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to have months of my streams inundated with 100-hour games that people really only wanted to see 4 hours of, and then we're never going to come back for. Because that's what's happened with these playthroughs now. Can you imagine? I mean this now. Can you imagine if with Baldur's Gate 3, I had played that in September? Can you imagine that? Because at least the way that I started in December, I was able to play it all of December and all of January. And then when games had come out, right, then I was able to balance it with those games. Can you imagine if I had played it at a time when there was a zillion other games out too? My God, right? So that's the deal. I need to have people commit to these games and not just say, well, we want this game. We want this game. Yeah, but the game's 80 hours long and you only showed up for 5 hours, right? So it's got to be one of two things. Either people are going to ask for things they're going to commit to actually showing up and watching and engaging with, or we just play games for 5 hours and drop them all, in which case that's pretty bad, don't you think? That I never finish a game. And you know me, for me, it's the complete and utter opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's the opposite. I like to finish games that I start, especially if it's a game that I like. I'm one of the least quitting streamers there is. People who actually make up that meme are complete jackass morons. I've beaten more games than most people out there because I almost never drop a game. I almost always play a game to completion. It's a rarity when I don't, right? So if you're one of these people right now in my chat who are yelling, Dragon's Dogma 2, Dragon's Dogma 2, Dragon's Dogma 2, I hope you're ready to show up for the streams. I hope you're ready to watch the videos. I hope you're thinking of supporting the playthrough. Not you're just screaming for the sake of screaming and then you show up for 2 streams. Okay, I saw what it was. Bye. I'll see you in a month. That's not how it works. Okay? Here's the truth. I want to play Dragon's Dogma 2. That was the game originally I was going to play this month. I told you that. I said Dragon's Dogma 2 is the game I'm focused on for March. And then every RPG I played, it was like less interest, less support, everything stagnated, views are way down on the channel. What the hell? You know? So that's the deal is if you really want that, you got to show up for it, okay? You have to. So let's see what happens, I guess. That's right. It's like a tournament. We need to have a sign-up list. You can sign up and commit to being at the tournament. So you got to sign up and commit to being at the playthrough. It's not all that serious, but I mean, you have to understand for me, it is because this is my job. I'm trying to put out content that's entertaining an audience, and the audience likes the content enough that they come back and they engage and they support with that content. And I'm having a hard time with it right now, honestly. And it didn't used to be like that. And now it is. Now it's ridiculous. It's like, how many of these games do I play? And then within a week or two, this happens. It's like, man, I mean, look, it already happened with Final Fantasy VII. Within like 3 streams of Final Fantasy VII, people were done with it. They tapped out. They're like, nah, fuck it. It's just another RPG. Oh, well. Really? This was the game that everyone was so hyped for. Couldn't wait. After Remake ended, everyone saw it was going to be a different plot with added stuff. Everyone's so excited. And it's just like, no one cares, right? It's just, wow. Certainly not what I was expecting. That game was like, that's the opposite reaction that I was expecting from the game, right? So, all right. Anyway, that's what I need to know. What do you want me to do for Friday? We have the schedule laid out for this week. We know what it's going to be, okay? We need to know what I'm playing on Friday. And then whatever it is, we'll play it for the one day a lot. And then we'll kind of put it on hold, and we'll play these other, Baldur's Gate and Like a Dragon, finish them both, and then we can fully commit to whatever the new game is. If we want to put Battlefront into the mix, if we want to continue with Final Fantasy VII, or maybe we want to play another game, because remember, there's other factors here. For example, one of the big factors is is this Alone in the Dark game going to be any good? I would love to have some kind of a horror game in the mix for variety, but I don't think anyone knows enough about it to really make a judgment yet, right? Like, we've been following it, and he's like, where's the information? Why is it that it's supposed to be coming out by the end of this month, and there's still no real info on this game? That's a little bizarre, don't you think? Especially after being delayed twice, you think there would be some info? Like, where is it? So, yeah, let's see what happens with that. But I hope that you guys understand why these changes have to be made. Otherwise, I would literally be just sitting here balancing 7, 8 games at a row, or at a time, I should say, never finishing anything, right? Okay. Well, that's what I have to say. I got it off my chest. Now, my Phil's Day Off segment is very simple. I mean, I could click over, but I ran errands. I was following YouTube comments, which is how I came to this determination. I sat with my wife. We talked about co-op and determined Beyond Two Souls is the way to go. And we talked about that. I can't do it right now. We have to finish up other stuff. See, here's the thing. It would be cool if we finish Baldur's Gate. We finish Like a Dragon. So then we're focused. Let's say it's Dragon's Dogma 2. So this is the major game I'm playing, right? And then I balance that with something like Battlefront, whether I do the single player or the multiplayer or both. I don't know if we go back to Final Fantasy VII. That would be more your choice. Maybe if we go back to Final Fantasy VII, I just streamline the playthrough and we just do story and that's it. Forget the open worlds because it's too time consuming to do all the open world segments. I just turbo through the story elements, right? Maybe. And then we do co-op once a week or maybe twice a week of Beyond Two Souls. All right? I think that would be good variety until new games come out. And you might say, well, when are the new games coming out? I don't know. On my birthday marathon on April 6th, we're going to figure that out. I'm actually going to go through the whole game schedule and look at all the games coming out, and we're going to figure out a schedule for us then. All right? And that's another question. Well, when are fighting games coming back? I don't know yet, but they might. They might. We might bring them back into the mix. Let's see together. But we have to get through what we're on right now. We have to get past this big roadblock of RPGs before we could do anything else. They have to be completed. Okay? Sound good? Anyway, so outside of that, the only other stuff that we did on the day off, you know, we cleaned the house a bit. Kat has actually been playing this game where you renovate homes and flip them. I don't even know what it's called. I guess it was on Game Pass. So she's been doing that, and it's kind of very relaxing and almost similar to what she was doing with Power Wash Simulator. So I watched her play that for a couple of hours. We ordered Mexican food for dinner. She had some tacos, and I had like a burrito. Nothing too special to talk about there. Yeah, that's that. I mean, pretty basic day off. Nothing too crazy to talk about there because the things we determined on the day off, I've already discussed. Okay? All right. I think it's time for shout-outs because of all the time constraints. So, in summary, the schedule is changing. Today we are doing Battlefront all day long, and hopefully it works. Starting tomorrow, it's a major focus on Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon until the games are done. So prepare for marathons of that, like seriously nonstop every day as much as I can play it. The difference being there will be a React day every week on Sunday, okay? We have to make a decision on what game I'm playing on Friday. It's either Dragon's Dogma 2 or Rise of the Ronin. I'm sure we'll be talking about this every day this week till we determine an answer. I'll be playing that on release day and then giving it a break until we finish Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. And we're going to go back to it basically in a heavy way to focus on progress in whatever the new game is that we choose, okay? The choice for co-op is Beyond Two Souls. We will be playing Beyond Two Souls together, my wife and I, once the RPG roadblock and clog is cleared. We're going to free the clog, and once the clog is cleared, then we can schedule in these co-op nights into the rotation. Fair enough? Okay, let's get to shout-outs. So, Jack of Fans became a member and says, hope you have a good streaming day today, Phil. Thank you to Jack. The Lucky Gremlin did a 10 membership bomb on the community. Congratulations to Amplitory, Selling Indulgences, RG690, Sambuca, Double J, 7-Star Samurai, Raw Zombie 26, Agent Coop, Sir Squishy Esquire, and Tigaholic. And Friendly Gremlin also became a member this morning, so thank you guys. No Tango Dinero did a super chat, says Friday, it's Friday, you got to get down on Friday. Thank you. Easy Steve with a super chat says, have you thought of bringing back indie marathons? I used to love the indie marathons. No lie, that was some of the most fun stuff that I did because I always got exposed to a whole bunch of games that I usually didn't know about or I'd heard about, but I never played. And sometimes I would actually really like those games to the point where I say, hey, I want to actually play them further. The problem is people stopped really wanting them. I actually always proposed them as like a monthly, event or something, and people just, so I stopped doing them. Now, maybe we'll do one this year. Maybe coming up, because my birthday marathon is the next thing we're doing, and that's on April 6th. Maybe after the birthday marathon, maybe we do something like that, an indies marathon. I'm down for that, doing a day where we play all these different indie games. Let's talk about it. Maybe keep it in mind, bring it up again once we get through the rest of this month, and once past the birthday marathon, maybe that's the next thing we plan. Faith Forged did a whopping $20 super sticker. Thank you so much, Faith Forged. I really appreciate that. And then Easy Steve did another super chat saying, have audience vote 1 SP, 1 MP, 1 indie variety. I think that means 1 single player game, 1 multiplayer game, 1 indie game. Yeah, at this point, I hate to say it because I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed at this. I don't see how I can be playing more than one of the same type of game at the same time. It's too much. Having so many RPGs has killed this channel in the last 2 months, and I can't do it anymore. So we've got to make a stand here and change things for the better. And I think we even have to start doing that. Like looking at the genres of games coming out and be like, well, I'd love to play it, but we're already playing a game like that. So we got to either finish it or whatever before we do the next. We can't be playing the same game, the same game, the same game, the same game, the same game. Well, Swade, thanks for 2 months as a member. No, we're not doing suggestion box this morning. There's no time. We're already late, and we're trying to do shout-outs, so you can just give up on that. So I received a $5 anonymous tip during my day off. I don't know who it's from, nor did it have a message attached to it, so it was a little confusing in that regard. But I want to give a shout-out and count it for today, regardless. So thank you, whoever the anonymous $5 tipper was yesterday. I appreciate that. And then, hold on. Hold on 1 second here. And another anonymous tipper tipped $5 and says, why weren't I at the Streamer Awards? Wasn't I given an invite? You may not realize this, but I'm not a popular streamer. You know that, right? Like, I'm a really small-time guy. I'm not popular. Why would they invite someone, a tiny guy, to go to the Streamer Awards? That doesn't even make sense. To be honest, I didn't even know they existed until people started telling me stuff like, did you hear that LTG went on stage at the Streamer Awards to present and they booed him off the stage? They hate the guy so much. And I was like, no, and I don't really care either. So I don't even know what else to say about that. You know, they're not going to invite a tiny, not popular streamer to the Streamer Awards. Okay. I received a $10 tip from Rocky. Thank you, Rocky. This is the biggest tip of the day, so let's get that on the leaderboard, see what he has to say. Happy Friday. Another long week of work is over. I'm happy to see Star Wars Battlefront, even with these issues reported online. I love Battlefront 2 a lot as a teenager. I loved the Battlefront games on PC. I thought they were excellent, and that was one of the reasons why I was happy that I had gaming PCs back in the day when I actually was a PC gamer, because you may not realize this, I was actually a PC gamer. I barely played anything on console besides fighting games. That late 90s, first half of the 2000s era, that's the truth. Okay, continuing on. I got a $2.22 tip. I want to say a point about your co-op. Okay, the stream should be about you and Kat, not about people in chat. We want to see you guys interact together. I agree with you. And it was funny because when I was reading that suggestion box feedback a couple days ago, literally the suggestion was, your wife is too disconnected and disengaged from the streams. She should be reading the chat and talking directly to the people on stream. And I was like, she's not a streamer. She doesn't want to sit here and do that. I'm the one running the stream, not her. I'm the professional, not her. She's here to be a guest, right? If anything, she should be playing the game, doing commentary, interacting with me. And every once in a while, I field a question and I give it to her, right? Why would she be sitting here reading the chat and doing that? It doesn't even make sense. I totally didn't understand where the gripe was there. And that's where it just started to piss me off that people just want to nitpick for the sake of nitpicking. But I agree with you. If Kat is having fun with the game and hanging out with me, then that's going to come through, and that's what's going to make a fun video co-op. And that's what we're aiming for moving forward. That's where it failed. Doing the co-op with Dondoko is that after the first stream, it was super boring, right? I received a $2.25 tip from Shit for Brains. So Shit for Brains says, I'm confused because you're saying that the problem is too many RPGs, but now you're saying that Dragon's Dogma is what everyone wants and what you want to play. Isn't that an RPG? You should play Rise of the Ronin. Listen, I'm going to say it again. I'm okay with playing either game. Personally, I am more interested in Dragon's Dogma. I am. I think that Dragon's Dogma is, as a game, I played the original, right? And I loved the original, and I would love to play the sequel, but I can't play it when I'm playing other RPGs. So if we wrap up the other RPGs, then we can play Dragon's Dogma 2. That's the point I'm making. You understand? We'll play it on launch day, and then we'll put it on the shelf. We'll beat the other games, and then we'll very happily pick it up when I can focus on it a ton. Rather than, I can only play Dragon's Dogma 2 twice a week because I'm also balancing it with Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon, and they also have to be played. No, fuck that. We're going to play one RPG if we do it. Okay? There you go. Okay, let's see here. Two idiotic things I'm just skipping because they're just idiotic. I received a $10 tip from Big Papa Phil. All right. And he has some things to talk about. Okay. This is the biggest tip of the day right now, right? Right? Well, there was another $10 tip, but I didn't put it on the leaderboard because I was busy reading people's messages. So, okay. So he says, I think it was a mistake to drop fighting games. They got consistent support in both audience and tips. That's actually false. With Tekken 8, by the time that I was finishing it, literally I was getting a tip from Jax Raxer and maybe a super chat, a stream. That's the last Tekken 8 stream I did there. That's exactly what happened. And people just were not connecting with Tekken 8 like they were with Street Fighter. I'm sorry, it didn't happen. Okay. I think people love seeing you climb in fighting games. You tried more fighting games, people would support and tip as much improve because it's hype to watch you improve. You could drop the game when you get to higher ranks. Don't forget about us who always support fighting games. And again, I'm not dropping fighting games. I don't know where people get this impression. There was at no point did I say I'm dropping fighting. It was Rocky. Thank you guys. It was Rocky who did the $10 tip earlier. I'm not dropping fighting games. I'm not playing them now because I just played 9.5 straight months of fighting games in the rotation and I'm burnt out. I'm just to the point where I just don't want to play them anymore. They're causing me undue stress when I play them. I want to enjoy myself when I'm playing fighting games. And for sometimes I do, but then when you get to a certain level, it's just not fun anymore. And that's where I am with Tekken. Like, it's too frustrating. That's where I was with Street Fighter 6. So I just don't want to play them right now. Eventually, fighting games will come back, whether it's for the return or the release of Akuma, whether it's for the Season 2 update in Street Fighter 6, whether I bring in Fightcade and we play retro fighting games, which I would absolutely love to do. So, definitely, I would like to do that, but I need a break, right? I need a break. I personally need that break. I hope you respect that. That it's not a situation where it's like, oh, it's because of the games. It's not. It's me. I need the break. You saw how frustrated I'm getting playing them. Let me take the break and do other things for a while, and then I'll get the bug again. I'll get that inkling. Oh man, I want to play a fighting game again, and I'll go back and we'll play them again. Okay? Okay. Hold on here. Thing. Hold on, because I'm trying to get this to load. Sometimes it just doesn't load for me. It's annoying. Okay, I received a $24 tip. So, okay. It's from 1 Minute Man. Let's play his animation. Let's get him on the leaderboard and let's see what he has to say. So he says, you mentioned RPG burnout and fatigue. Ugh. You mentioned RPG burnout and fatigue today. Is it a symptom or a cause? Could the reason be more complex than simply too much of the same type of game or too much of a good thing? Could various quality aspects of the games play a part? Whatever happens today, I'm here and ready for you know what. I'll be here and ready for you know what. Probably means Baldur's Gate 3. No, here's the thing. If Like a Dragon came out in January, Persona 3 Reload came out in March, Final Fantasy VII came out in May, right? Dragon's Dogma came out in July. If all these games were spaced out to give them a month or two to shine and be the featured RPG of the time, I don't think we'd be in the situation we're in right now. I don't. I think the problem is when you have too much of the same thing in too short of a period of time, it doesn't have the time to shine and be get its time to really be featured or popular, because people are already on to the next. And again, the comparison I will make here, the great comparison, is fighting games. Street Fighter 6 came out in June. That gave Street Fighter 6 3 to 4 months to be featured as the premier fighting game. Then Mortal Kombat 1 came out in September, and that had about a month to be featured. Of course, it flopped. It sold well, but panned critically. After only a month, everyone hated it, and now no one plays it. It's literally a dead game. But then what happened? Many months, and then in January, Tekken 8 comes out. If, no exaggeration, if Street Fighter 6 came out in June, Mortal Kombat 1 came out in July, and Tekken 8 came out in August, it would have destroyed them all. Every one of those games would have had less sales, less talk, less buzz, less tournament attendees, less people streaming them. It would have been awful, because that's what happens when you oversaturate. Imagine 3 Mario games being released back to back, even if it's like Mario RPG, Mario Wonder, and another Mario game, right? Oh, wait, that actually happened. That literally happened. Do you remember? And I couldn't get people to show up for Mario streams because it was too much Mario. You see? That's all it is. It's timing. There's nothing wrong with these games. Some people would say, well, maybe it's because these games have too much content that's considered more grindy or open world or whatever. The thing is, for example, a game like a Dragon, I love calling it the late night chill stream, because that's the stream where you can come by and hang out with me. And it's more like a hangout session where we talk and interact. And yes, there's a game as well, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be hyper-focused on the game, correct? And that used to work until I was doing that at night and Baldur's Gate 3 and Final Fantasy. And they're all giant world content China chill sessions. Now you have 3 fucking RPG chill sessions at once. It doesn't work. If there was 1, it works. If there's 3, it doesn't. It's that simple. It's too much of a good thing. Okay. So thank you very much, 1 Minute Man. Okay. Well, I think we're good. We've covered everything. I've given every shout out so far. Does anyone have anything they would like to talk about? We have a little bit of extra time here. If you tag me in the chat, we'll do a little bit of discussion Q&A before we try to get Battlefront to work, which at this point might be a losing cause. I guess we'll see what happens. If Battlefront doesn't work, the only thing I can say is we could jump into Baldur's Gate 3, but I'm nervous because no one knew that I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 today. So the usual crowd probably won't be here. And then what's going to end up happening is we're going to have less engagement, less support. And now it's kind of, see what I mean? Like, if I announce it ahead of time, people show up. But if they don't know that it's going to be today, I get the feeling that's what's going to happen. Okay? All right, guys, I'm just going to say this. Stop saying go play fighting games, because I'm not doing it. Like someone says, well, just do Tekken lobbies. No, there's no Tekken lobbies. There's no Street Fighter lobbies. There's no fighting games. I'm done with them for now. I announced this a week ago. I'm done with it. I don't want to play fighting games right now. You should respect my desire to not be stressed out playing a fighting game. Okay? I've literally no desire to play them right now. This used to happen to me also when I was a competitive fighting game player. Back then, I would have periods where I would get very burnt out. After playing a ton, I would get very burnt out and not want, if I played, I would just lose and be frustrated. So I gave up on it, and then I would wait, and then after a while, I would come back and feel so reinvigorated just taking that breathing room. There were times when I was preparing for a tournament and got so frustrated that I just stopped preparing, and then I like 2 weeks later, I would go back, and I'd actually be playing much better just by taking the break. It allowed my mind to get fresh, to lose that stress, right? And then come back later and I did better. And that's what happens sometimes in this kind of stuff. You need the break. Okay. Yeah, Easy Steve, I'm kind of thinking I like that idea. He says, one single player game, one multiplayer game, one indie style game, maybe balance those, always have something like that in your rotation. It could work. Having that variety absolutely could work. And always making sure that it's not always the same genre, right? I can't just be playing the same genre of game, because that's the thing. One RPG, right? Maybe one action game, one multiplayer game, and the other thing is not the same. So if I'm going to play a multiplayer game, if I'm going to play Battlefront, that's a shooter. If I'm going to play Street Fighter, that's a fighting game. Don't play two fighting games at once. Don't play two shooters at once, right? Keep those different genres separated so now there's more variety. I think that's what we need to do. What really sucks here, let's be honest, there were going to be games that were going to be variety in the rotation, and they stunk. That's really what the major problem was. The good games of the last few months have all been RPGs. Everything else has been a disappointment. The one exception would be Helldivers 2, which is an online co-op game that I'm not going to play because I don't play co-op games, right? So that's the one exception to the rule. If it had been an online competitive shooter, I would have tried it. It's not. It's a co-op game, so that's why I haven't played it. But outside of that, everything is good RPG, good RPG, good RPG, right? And then everything else is kind of like forgotten in the mix. There's nothing. All the games are kind of sucking. So, yeah, I know. Like Suicide Squad, wow. Holy failure, right? Whew, okay. I received a $5 tip from Rocky. For the record, I will be here to support Dragon's Dogma 2. They are very highly anticipated streams for me. There you go. I mean, yes, it seems like right now the majority of people in chat who are here live today are saying they would prefer Dragon's Dogma 2. That's what they're saying. So that's the feedback I'm taking. If you're someone who watches this podcast on demand, please understand I want your feedback. I really need feedback on this issue. We have a week to figure this out. Is it going to be Dragon's Dogma 2, or is it going to be Rise of the Ronin that I'm playing all day Friday and next week? We got to figure that out. So give me your feedback. Let me know your thoughts. And, we'll go from there. Okay? Exactly. What's the other game everyone's talking about right now? Unicorn Overlord. Guess what that is? Just take a wild fucking guess what genre of game Unicorn Overlord is. I dare you. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I think you can get it now. I think you understand. Every good game is an RPG. Unreal. Unreal, man. What is a slice of life simulator? So, no Tango De Niro said slice of life simulator. What the hell is that? Is that supposed to be like a Second Life or something? Remember that game? I wonder if anyone even plays that anymore. Yeah, Lilica, the System Shock 2 remake, I know, it's coming out on consoles in May, and I asked you guys earlier this week if you'd be interested in seeing me play that. That's supposed to be the game that came and kind of inspired BioShock, and I never played System Shock, so I don't really know much about it. I know it's like a cult classic when it comes to PC games, so I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing me play that or not. It is. It's like a Second Life sim. Okay, it is. That's what a slice of life sim is. All right. That's true. People play GTA 5, GTA Online as like Second Life. There you go. That's what happened. Iron Man the Power said, I'd love to see you play Rise of the Ronin next Friday. Okay, everyone, I really, over the next week, please give me this feedback. Whether it's Rise of the Ronin or Dragon's Dogma 2, I have a week to figure this out. We have to figure it out by Wednesday coming up. By the end of this streaming week, I want to figure out what we're doing Friday so I can order it, load it, and we're set and locked and ready for that Friday. Okay, so let's do it. By the way, the heat wave has begun here in Washington State. Today, our temperatures are already up, which sucks ass because obviously I don't want it to be hotter, but it is. Today, it's already in the high 50s outside and getting hotter. It's supposed to be in the 60s today. Tomorrow, it's supposed to be 72 degrees outside, which means in this office, it will be 85 to 90. So I'm not kidding. Tomorrow, I'm going to be wearing my summer attire. I'm going to be wearing shorts and one of my short sleeve, probably Hawaiian shirts or something. I just have to. It's going to be too hot in here. I don't have air conditioner in yet. It's too early because actually it says here, it's only going to be hot Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tuesday, the temperature starts to dip. By Wednesday, we're back to our normal spring temperatures. So I can't have the air conditioners in yet. So I'm going to be wearing like cookout attire here on stream tomorrow and Sunday because it's so hot. Yeah. Oh, my nose. Duh. All right. Big Papa Phil says I should wear a floaty as if I'm like in a pool and sign the name of the tippers onto the floaty. Oh, there you go. Totally quality content right there, man. Let me tell you. You can totally tell that when a streamer does that, they're doing it for the love of what they're doing and not because they're trying to make money, right? That's great. How about, I'll get in a bubble bath, all right? And every time that someone donates, I add more bubbles, and it just keeps bubbling up. Like a cauldron of bubbles. Oh, my God. For the love of the games, baby. For the love of the games. That's what I'm here for. Brunel's Bubble Bath Bonanza. What's up, Hobby Gaming? Good afternoon. Oh, my God. Ay, ay, ay. All right, guys. Any last minute stuff? Anything to talk or chat about? Or shall we adjourn and then get to this crapshoot of a Battlefront collection? Man, I'm wondering if this is going to work at all. I hope it does because, like I said, I really want to play these games. I know how good they are, but plus for me, you know I'm going to die nonstop at first. I'm not going to remember what I'm doing. I haven't played this in ages. You Platinum God of War Ragnarok? Congrats, Habib Gaming. That's pretty tough to do, I think. Might be so bad it's good. No, here's the thing. If we can get into matches, even if they're buggy and shit, it'd still be funny. But what if we just can't get into matches? That's what I'm worried about, is that it's not going to work. Dabian says, funny enough, it runs super good just on the Switch, though. Wow. So we'll just have to drop the stream on PlayStation 5 and rebuy the game on the Switch to play it. Wow. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Great stream. Thank you for listening to my rants. I appreciate that. Not really rants, but, you know, I had to put my foot down today. I hope you like the ideas and the changes. I hope that you guys will join me for the finales of Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I hope you'll give me your feedback on what you want to see starting this coming Friday. I need your feedback very strongly. Please give it to me. And let's do this together. Let's get out of RPG. What's the word when you're stuck between heaven and hell? Purgatory. We're in RPG purgatory, and we got to get out of it. So thank you for your feedback. Let's do it together. All right? Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.